Hello and welcome to another video here at Making Muse Creations. So today I'm going to be making a polymer clay fairy door charm. So I'm just smooshing up some brown clay and I've got some granite coloured clay for the stones around the outside. So what I'm going to start off by doing is just making a kind of door shape. Gonna use my tools to shape it up a bit, and I'm just gonna cut the bottom of that off so that it's nice and even. Okay, so now to take the granite clay, just giving that a smush so it softens up, and then I'm going to roll it out on my tile. Forgot the word then. I'm just going to cut off little pieces so that I can make them into the stones around the outside of the fairy door. So I'm just going to sort of layer them up and press them into the fairy door. So here's the first layer. I'm going to add a second smaller layer just to fill in some of those gaps. I might even make them a bit smaller than that, just depending on how big the gap is. Okay, so now that is done, I want to go ahead and add in some details. So I'm just going to take my needle tool and I'm just going to sort of make some wood grain in the clay. And there we go. So, first things first, I want to add a doorknob. So I'm going to take a bit of yellow clay. And pop it on one side. I'm then going to take some green clay and make some leaves and some vines. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've cut this sausage shape out. I'm just going to make some leaf shapes and put them onto the tile that I'm working on. I'm going to flatten them down a bit, but not too much. And then I can add some detail with my blade. Okay, so I'm going to take my blade and I'm just going to make some indents. First line is straight down the middle, and then next I'm going to work on each side. Just put in as many lines as you feel is necessary to give it sort of a vein look. I try and go for 4, but sometimes 3 works, and sometimes more. Just depends on what sort of look you are looking for. Okay, so next is to make a vine. So I'm using this tropical green clay. I'm gonna make a vine that sort of creeps up the fairy door. I'm just gonna start by putting the little leaves onto the vine. There we go. And the last thing that I'm going to do is take some red clay. I'm going to use my scalpel to just roll that flat because the other one is too big, and then I'm going to use my scalpel to just cut some little circles out of the clay. That. I'm going to cut a little bit off to be the center, and then I'm going to start picking the petals up, and I'm going to make a red coloured flower or rose depending on what you prefer. When they're different colours I just call them flowers, but I just build it up really slowly, don't rush. And it builds up really nicely. Then I'm just gonna cut the bottom of it off, and I am going to use a little bit of liquid clay just on the bottom of the flower to secure it and bond it fully into place. I'm going to make another one so that I can have one further down, but this one I want it to be slightly bigger. So I am going to add some more clay so we can have some more petals. And this is probably a bit bigger than I would normally make a charm with, so I'll probably make it into a keyring, but you'll be able to watch me do that once this has been baked. there we have the petals for our second flower. So I'm just gonna flatten them down a bit, and then I will just start to pull them up one at a time and putting them around my flower center. So this flower is going to be a bit bigger, which is exactly what I wanted. Last couple of petals, add them on. I'm going to slice the bottom off to make it even and use a little bit of liquid clay just to add that. And then here is the finished fairy door. All that's left to do is to add, I think I'm going to try and add an eye pin right through there. Where's my eye pins on? I'm going to take my wire snips, cut down the eye pin, bend it around, and then pop it into place. I'm then going to use some liquid clay to bond it in, and then we have our finished fairy door. So I'm going to go and bake this, and then I will be back to show you how I turn it into a charm or keyring, depending on what I feel like at the time.